Hi, welcome to Connections for Life. And my dad's job is so easy, I can do it. By the way, I am 12. I'm Christina Peet, his daughter, and his job pretty much is boring. So I'm running the show today.
We do not do boring things, Tina. Yes, we do not do boring things.
Sit on a computer screen and swear all day.
That's fantastic.
I'm Joe Surratt, and I totally agree with Christina.
What's going on in here? Can I have my job, please?
No, I run the show now.
All right. Thanks for opening this up, Tina. We really.
Bye, Christina.
Thanks, Tina.
Goodbye.
Bye.
I don't know what just happened, but I'm pretty sure we're recording. So.
Well, that's what happens when you go on vacation. We start trying out new people in your chair.
It's really not that hard. I think a 12-year-old could do it. So, with that said, welcome to another episode of Connections for Life. Today we have a really, really special episode. But how you guys been? I miss you guys.
Good, man. How was vacation?
It was in the woods, and we had like a tropical storm. So we were there for 10 days, and we went camping in the middle of the Adirondacks. And after like 4 days, it started like hurricane raining on us in the middle of the Monday night. So we got up on Tuesday and go, hey, let's go to a hotel and dry all our stuff for 2 days.
Never left.
The rain stops coming.
Hey, thanks for calling us when you connected to the Wi-Fi. We really appreciate it.
So,
thanks for calling us when you connected to the Wi-Fi.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I just want to say welcome back. We did miss you. Chad and I, as you can see from the previous episode, it was a little
hey,
we struggled a little. We
have a little purpose.
We literally argued about who was going to bring the show in for a while before we started taping it.
Well, now we got a suitable replacement. As long as
so easy a 12-year-old can do it. That should be our new tagline. So easy a 12-year-old could do it.
That would go. Oh no, you guys are talking about this seriously. When we were on vacation, right? So we have like an island. We camp in the middle of the woods, and there's an island in the middle of the lake we're on, and there's a huge rope swing on it and a big rock that kids jump off and stuff. You're muted, Chad. But so what you were saying, that cool tagline though, so easy a 12-year-old could do it. They were doing the rope swing with a bunch of like 25-year-old kids and stuff like that. And my daughter screams up to him one time and goes, "Send it!" And one of the 24-year-olds goes, "Tina said send it." And they were like, "That's $1 million t-shirt. Tina said send it." I'm totally making that next week. Tina said send it.
A couple of things that I'd like to point out about there. Number one, I don't know if I want my 12-year-old hanging around with 24-year-old guys. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you refer to a 25-year-old guy as kids. So that just gives you an idea of how old we're getting.
So that perspective.
Speaking of how old we're getting.
Yes, hey. I was going to do it, but hey, yesterday, so you'll know when we recorded this, it was both Ace and Gary's birthday. And the two of them turned 41 and 43 respectively.
Yeah.
So,
and people are
wait. I was gonna say in the comments, I wanted people to see who was.
You do it all the time. You just try to make me feel bad.
It makes me feel good.
I know, but it makes me feel terrible.
All right, so who are we talking to today?
Okay, so today we have one of our absolute favorites on the show.
Infamous.
That also applies with her. Tammy from NRI ClockSpring is joining us today, and she is an absolute just pillar in all things Upscale, all things composites, all things in the natural gas / composite world. She's been with NRI for 20 plus years. She's now currently serving as the Director of Education and Training for ClockspringNRI. Company recently went through a merger. You'll hear all about it in the interview. But she's based out of Riviera Beach, Florida. And besides being like the absolute rock star that she is, she's also a partner of life partner of Jim.
Did you just say life partner?
Yeah.
That's my new favorite thing.
I'm trying to be politically correct here.
Every time I talk to Jim now or Tammy, I'm going to ask to talk to the life partner.
Jim Shower from EWN and Tammy are boyfriend and girlfriend.
Oh, let it come into the show. You'll find out at the end of the show.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't say that he was coming on, did I?
Now you'll know that now. So, but without further ado, why don't we bring Tammy in to join us? All right.
Hey, Tammy, and welcome to Connections for Life.
Going.
Hi, Tam.
Hi, Tam. How are you?
How are things? How's Florida?
Looks sunny.
Hot, humid.
It looks nice.
And I have no sympathy for that.
Yeah, it was a tough one.
None.
What are you talking about? It's 94 degrees here in upstate New York.
For that 1 month in upstate New York when you guys actually have weather.
Listen, we've had
weather.
the
3 days.
warmest summer I've ever been a part of in upstate New York.
It's been
ever.
hot. I literally,
I love it.
yeah, I agree with Ted. Like, we've literally had like a 4 day, I mean, like not 4, but like more days that we've ever had that are over 90. Like, it's just been hot. I haven't turned the air conditioning off in like 3 weeks, other than like one time.
Wait until you get that. Wait until you get the electric
Anyways,
bill on
as
that.
much as everybody wants to hear about
Yeah.
our accounting,
Our personal lives. See, this one's a different one for us because we're all really, really comfortable talking with Tammy. Like, we just continue the conversation.
It took us a half hour to get to the recording part.
well,
Like
I
part.
guess I'll jump in here and start.
Go ahead, Joe.
Tammy, we obviously did the introduction. Everybody knows who you are, but let's just, if we could talk about a little bit about your history and how you ended up in the gas industry. It's kind of be a good place for us to start.
Okay. Yeah, definitely by accident. I started working at a small company called Neptune Research Incorporated in a galaxy far, far away in April of 1998.
Wow.
I was actually hired to train to be the office manager.
Okay.
In hindsight, I cannot believe they let me be in charge of their money. Right? You guys believe
Second that. Yeah, never.
Echo.
There was less than 10 employees. I was employee number 10.
Wow.
Yeah. Fast forward probably 2005-ish, 7 years later, as being the only female at a small business, I did a lot of the phone answering, customer interactions, and we needed outside salespeople, so they kicked me out. It started with some trade shows, and eventually, I took over the Trident Seal line, moved over, and I've spent the better part of the career in sales, working closely with R&D. We've done some super cool things based on need, and now I manage the training department.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Awesome. You didn't know she's in training now? Yeah, she's doing the training department now, which is pretty neat. It's we'll talk. I think we'll talk about that even a little bit later, Tammy. And I know, man, the background you have in this whole thing and how you started, and I didn't know it was 98, and I didn't know you started as an office manager, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I knew you didn't start in sales, but that is pretty neat, and it is kind of scary that you were the money person too. But now
I just like how you got kicked outdoors. Like, I always joke, like, I got kicked outside too, like an outdoor dog. I'm not allowed in the house.
Sorry.
Remember when you got
Right, I'm just stay outside. Yeah, so I get it. So
it is kind of funny. So in that evolution of your career, you've also gotten the opportunity. You started out with NRI, which was, like you said, a family-run business, and now you've essentially become, with mergers and acquisitions and everything else, you've become ClockspringNRI, and I think maybe even a different name too on top of that now. But why don't you tell us what you do as a whole, as a company? Just because I think even for us, there's things that we probably don't even know that you guys do, really, in the composite world.
Yep, so CSNRI, I think is the formal name that we're going with, which CS is for...
I got to write that down.
Yeah, let me do it too.
All right.
Guys, we are the product, the current company, of approximately 5 mergers and acquisitions, 6 mergers and acquisitions over the past years. It's a global company now, with 3 specific divisions. We have the AVT, which is clamps. We have geopolymers, Geotree, which is civil infrastructure. And then CSNRI, which is the thing that we do composites for.
Which is the thing that we're like the most familiar with.
That's
right.
That's where we interact with you and whatnot.
I know that.
From
go ahead.
1998, 10 people. Fast forward to 2020, we're at somewhere between 200 and 250 people worldwide.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
How many people actually work at the plant still?
You know what, Florida, and honestly, I haven't been there since March. I've been there twice. Seriously, since it happened, because of your kind invitation to be on the show, this is literally the second day I've worn makeup.
Odd, because I wear it every day and I still look like this.
Well, I was down there in we were there in February. Dan and I came and checked out the facility and stuff like that. And that was in the middle of the transition and everything. So that was my first time at the facility. But for you not to be in there, that doesn't, like, you know, that was kind of your world. So
Yeah.
We haven't been in there. We haven't been in the
I've
office
been there a
either.
while.
I've been to the office one time just to pick something up, but I didn't even go in. So I know how it feels. It's different, you know, and not to an area that you go to so frequently to not go. It's weird.
It's
Yeah.
really weird. I mean, just not being in Houston for 6 months is unheard of.
That's kind of how I feel about upstate New York. Really, I'm like, okay, like I went there 4 or 5 times a year, 6 times a year, and I haven't been there in 6 months. And I don't want to really say this out loud, but I miss the interaction and like the guys. You know what I mean? I don't miss sitting in 9 hours worth of meetings, but I miss like everybody.
all right, I got what I needed out of this meeting now. We got to mark that timestamp so I can send that to Andy. He asked me to do that. Finally, we can cancel the show now. I got Chad doing business upstate New York. So.
Without getting too far off the rails, Tim, I guess one of the things that I've seen in the 10 years that I've been here is the evolution of the composite world, the evolution of the products that you offer. I guess, can you just talk about, since your introduction you started, how composites have changed over the years, and what are the biggest, what your biggest current markets are that you guys service?
Yeah, so all 3 companies or divisions of our company all focus on civil infrastructure. And we talk about a lot of why what we do matters. And COVID has definitely brought that to light in terms of, I mean, all of our technical folks have letters from the president of the company stating that they are designated critical infrastructure workers. So
Same as us.
Yeah.
Same as us. Yeah.
It's kind of, you know, we say it a lot, we talk about it, but when it really is real, you just kind of look at it like, wow, you know, it's a little bit bigger than we thought. So,
Meanwhile, none of us have left the house in months.
Nobody wants to see me.
Well, that's not any different than without COVID.
That is correct. Thank you. I appreciate the pick me up as normal.
I don't think that's true.
Thank you. So one of the products that's really near and dear to our heart at Upscale and mine and Joe's and Ted's is Trident Seal. And I think there's a little bit of a unique story about how Trident Seal actually came to be, and I think you tell a pretty good version of it if I remember correctly, and how it became pretty much the premier live leak repair in the gas utilities. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so when I started in 1998, we had Synthoglass and some repair kits for industrial market. Again, Neptune Research was primarily focused in the marine industry. Products were required damage control locker inventory for every Coast Guard and Navy vessel. I had the distinct honor and privilege of training all of the deadliest catch guys in the year. And
actually, I have a funny story about that, because the second year that I was at Upscale, we were in Morgantown, and you and I were outside having a chat, and you picked up your phone and you said, hold on, I got to take this. It's Edgar from Deadliest Catch. I'll never forget that. And you like wandered off, and I was like, what? I want to talk.
What just happened? Yeah, can you put him on speaker?
I go, what happened? And you go, I just needed some Trident Seal kits. I was like, come on, like give me more info. It was so cool. So I remember that. I remember that from the from the very beginning. That's funny.
All right, Joe, let her go now.
I'm just saying, it was a cool story.
One of our salespeople actually met Dan, and Dan was like, wow, we could really support the industry well with something like this. If you could only understand the number of natural gas leaks and the amount of time that they spend addressing them. So we made some modifications to the resin, to the components, slight modifications, sent it to GTI, did a plethora of testing, natural gas specifically. The first round they said, all gas pipe is yellow, make it yellow. And we were like, okay, we made it yellow. No, that looks like a big sore on the side of all of the steel pipe. Plastic pipe is yellow, change it. You can ask Dan. The first round was, they only needed up to 2.5 PSI because it only goes inch pounds into the house.
Right.
Well, now we need it at 60, and you got to pressure test it 1.5 times operating. So 90 PSI, we're like, okay. I mean, the first couple of years we rolled with the punches. 2007, fun fact that I bet none of you know, Trident Seal won the Product of the Year for Plant Engineering Magazine.
Really?
Oh, I knew that. I subscribe and read it every week.
Yeah, sure, it's very graphic.
I think Joe's lying.
Then that's really neat. That's cool. That's a
that is
award.
awesome. That is a cool thing.
I mean, for those of like the world that don't use Trident Seal, we obviously are intimately aware of it, and we use it all the time, and we've trained on it all the time. And it's just one of those. I think Chad kind of alluded to it, but I want to extrapolate on it a little bit. Is you talked about the Premier Leak repair system, and I think that there's a lot of different options and a lot of different other items out there that you could potentially use. But Trident Seal is the one that I always hearken to as the permanent repair, right? And I think that that's one moniker that we want to make sure that everybody understands, that this isn't just a temporary stopgap to a situation. This is a permanent fix. I just wanted you to talk a little bit about that, and you know, that it is a permanent repair, and you know, the ideology behind that and how it's different than maybe some of our competition, your competition.
Yeah, when you talk about permanent, you can just, you know, we did the pressure testing at GTI, like I said, 90 PSI. They cycled them over, I think, 15 to 2,000 cycles. Just to get the influx and to try to basically fail it. They didn't fail it. It was a 30-day test, if I'm not mistaken, 1,000 hours, something like that. And they ended up pressure testing. All of them failed over 1,000 PSI. Again, this is designed for 90 PSI. One of the Upscale customers, I won't mention by name, but some people in the industry might remember that that lab was known nationwide for being difficult to pass anything.
I know who you're talking about.
Dr.
Me too.
Yeah. And they tried to fail Trident Seal back when there was the tag team of them. And I went in with Gino and Stan, and they're like, yeah, we put it in the salt crock bath. It was at like temperature twice what you say it can do. We froze it. They're like, how did you, we got that cryogenic unit?
Yep. They do with everything. They freeze it. Oh, new product, freeze it. Sounds great. Let's freeze it. Let's take it to the minus 80, because that might happen.
Yeah. Yep. They're like salt crock for 3 months. They're pressurized pipe vessels, right? This isn't just the composite by itself. We did repairs, and then they stuck them through this entire array of tests. And I'm like, okay, well, which
how do we do?
What do you mean, which one? Because they only had one failure out of, I think it was a dozen. And I was like, okay, well, which failed? And they're like, what do you mean, which one? We didn't perform those tests independently. We
did them all.
Yeah.
The same substance.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
That's funny.
Confidence in the product that you're representing, then I don't know what does.
I just will say that it's always been a product that we do, you know, we do a lot of training on it, and it's always been something that I've never had an issue with. Like, it's always gone on. It works well. It's and is, you know, there is a little bit of a training and understanding about the product, but it's very easy to use, and it makes sense. And I think that that's why a lot of gas utility customers still stick with Trident Seal, because it is A, permanent, and B, it's something that you can go out and get done in 10 minutes and have comfortability that you have a safe situation for your services and your customers. So
well,
I just wanted to bring that part up.
With like a sidebar on it, it was like the first thing that I ever trained on or got trained on at Upscale by Joe. And
that's why it's terrible at it.
No, actually, I'm quite good now. I gotta give my boy a shout out here. He is an expert trainer, and when we did it, we did the entire setup that you go to do it, and I'm looking at it going, oh boy, am I a little over my head here at first. And then when you got into the process and the application and all of the procedures of it, I mean, we trained 30 something guys in 2 days with the two of us, and I had an hour's worth of training on it, essentially hands-on, and then the stuff in advance of it. And it was so practical that when the guys and the team finished using or training on it, they were like, why didn't we know about this sooner? Why is this not like why is this just not the go-to? But we had just switched them to it. So it was
it's a good product. Phenomenal. I mean, it's and it is something that is near and dear to us. I mean, as we kind of talked, and this is a little bit of a different interview because we are so, you know, we all do know you personally so well, and obviously, you know, the extensions of you, we won't bring up who, if he pops up, we'll see him. But I wanted to kind of talk about, because you brought it up in the beginning, you just moved to training, as you said, from sales. So I guess in my position, I understand how that kind of, they kind of go hand in hand together, right? One versus the other. But how has that transition been for you? And, you know, what's it like being in training now? Yeah, sure.
I want to back up and throw the spotlight at Chad for a second. Chad, I think it was 2 or 3
years. No, we can't back up. No.
We didn't have that stuff.
What's up,
2
Tammy?
years ago, while we were in Morgantown, one of your customers brought it up that we needed to have Trident Seal moved from just a training to an operator qualification.
Yeah.
and on what that means.
Very, very good idea. I forgot to put that in the questions. Wow, thanks, Tammy. One of the challenges we have, or that I have, some other guys don't, but I don't always have the time to go. Well, I don't always. Yeah, that's definitely one of them. But I don't always have the time to go do the tried and sealed trainings. I'm not the best organizer of the guys who are certified. And that really shouldn't be my thing. So what we've been trying to do as a group is go to, and we started with one of my customers, Dominion in Ohio, and we actually added all of this training requirements to their qualifications, and it goes through with all their leak products essentially every 3 years. So that's been our goal, because probably the hardest part about this whole thing is not the physical training or putting it on, because I think that's really simple. It's the act of getting them to involve the training, because when we came out with this product, or when NRI came out with it, I think the world was a lot easier. As that sounds, there wasn't as much technology and ways you sent the papers in, you got your certifications back. Well, that was 15 years ago, and we've evolved. So what we're trying to do now is evolve into the utilities, into their qualifications, OQ or their other training systems. So I think that's a great thing to bring up, Tammy. And it simplifies it. It really does. It makes sure that you're not getting a call on Sunday, or me or Ted or Joe saying, "Hey, I'm not sure if this guy's qualified or not. Can you look in your records?" Because now they have the records, actually. So I think it's really important.
They maintain them themselves and certify their employees and the whole nine.
Correct.
They also make sure that nobody is beyond certification when they're doing an application.
Yeah, we just kind of touched on that, but the certification is every 3 years? Is that what it is? So you have to re-up every 3 years?
Yep, operators make that decision for themselves.
Okay.
We started off with 1 year. Some people wanted to move to 3 years, but basically what they like to do is align it with their polyethylene leak repair.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's what Dominion has done, and I'm working with NiSource to do it as well. We're NiSource. They've had a lot of people changes in there. The people that did take it as like a champion have moved on to bigger and better positions, but we're still working on it. And I think it's really the way to get it to grow even more. It's such a great product. It's been such a great product for years that it's really the way that it's going to grow. And I don't know how people don't use it in the industry, our customers, it's just amazing.
Operator qualifications, it's anything that affects the integrity of the pipe.
Which clearly this falls
it's leaking.
under that umbrella. Well, since you hijacked our conversation and didn't want to answer my training question, can we go back to that? Like, if you don't have to now, we can just move on to the next thing. But I was just curious what it's like. How is your life different from sales versus moving into the training role?
So when we were a small company, right, I did a lot of the training myself. I think I've done it probably with you guys, if not with your partners. We all know Mike never really trained. He just brought me along to do it.
And he brought donuts too. Donuts that were important.
A little shout out to Mike Talon if you're watching, Mike. Yeah. We miss you and love you, buddy.
We miss you, Mike. See, even just the thought of him sidetracks me. So, we've done a lot of training, and that's actually part of a technical sales role. But the new plethora of salespeople that we have with these merged and acquired companies, we've got a very active team in the process piping world and a very active team in the pipeline world.
Cool.
And my role isn't necessarily to be a trainer. I have a team of 6 trainers that work for me. They're a great group of guys. One of them has 20 years of experience. But the best part is now it's, you guys were talking, but when Ted was on vacation, we talked about this epiphany where we realized we are actually the people who are supposed to be educating the next generation in the industry.
Yeah,
right. Scary.
On the cusp of being the old people.
Yeah, that freaks me out.
Yeah, we're on the cusp. Yeah, that's right, cusp. Yeah,
Joe, you're on the other side. I think I'm just about to hit there too.
So anyways, I feel like this is an opportunity for me to train those people. We do a lot of, the focus is in interdepartmental training, organizing. I probably shouldn't say this out loud. I know we're being recorded, but there has not really been a female on the training team. And there's a certain element of organization. Chad, you might have alluded to that being an issue for you.
I might have mentioned that.
Yeah, I mean, but it's true, you know.
No, it is true. You're right.
This big organization, you know, having that balance is extremely important.
You're like the Wizard of Oz. You orchestrate.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, with that said, I guess that's phenomenal info. I'm going to ask one question. Actually, I think we should ask Tammy the question we ask all the Upscale people. So at the end of it.
That should be the last question. But go ahead and ask the actual last question, Ted, and then we'll give her that one.
Yeah. So Tam, where do you see the future of composites in our industry?
I've seen it evolve so much already. It's just a really phenomenal thing to watch. I think that first and foremost for us, like I said, having been in 5 different companies, we have an active research and development team that is in the process of rationalizing all of our legacy products. Mm-hmm. Sure that we have just one product that we've tested and vetted to be the best for each application. So you'll see some changes from us in the very near future about that.
Cool.
But I mean, I just think they're constantly growing. I think the acceptance in the industry for repairs is astronomical. I think it's going to be as popular as cutting and replacing. We talked also about the aging workforce. That just means the younger engineers are coming in and they understand composites. They understand the technology, and we've got, you know, 2 decades worth of testing now. You know, now they've been in the ground for so long and look back. So
I think the other thing there, that the other aspect of that, Tam, is that like it's more widely accepted. You know what I mean? Like when it first came out, it was like the new thing, and it was like, is it as strong as steel? Will it last? Does it hold up? And I think all of those questions have begun.
Really say strong as steel?
Stronger. I'm sorry. Stronger. Whatever.
Okay, you're gonna have to stop talking now. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I meant.
You spoke about your R&D lab that I actually got to see, guys, when I was down there. How they changed the the entire facility, and they have just this to determine what the best product is. We're gonna have one ideation of a product, and it's gonna be amazing, and we're gonna make sure we're gonna research and develop and test it and everything here. And that place was probably my favorite place in the tour. So
yeah, it's a neat place. I mean, just the way that you guys are set up in your R&D lab. I mean, I've been there. I think Chad has been as well. And it doesn't hurt that it's in Florida and you guys always take me fishing. So anytime you want to bring us back down, you know, we're more than happy to pop in. But I think
when you get back for 2 weeks, and you know,
I just want to say personally, for me, I've known you for 10+ years. Our original start date, you and I, was in a trench in upstate New York.
Oh my gosh!
There's photos of that on the walls down there,
where we both thought we were going to actually die. So that was a nice introduction to the gas industry for me. Yeah. So, but from us, you know, obviously, Tam, you're one of my faves. I've known you a long time, since the beginning, and you and Jim. And for those of you that don't know, I think we can announce, right? Jim is he around? Can he pop his head in, say hello?
He can only be behind the window in the back. That's it. Yeah, not allowed to talk. Keep him behind the window.
Yeah, you have to stay back.
So we just a little cameo. A cameo for our brother there, Jim Shower from.
There he is. Yes,
he's looking great.
You can let him in the house now. But we love you, and that's pretty much.
We love both of you. You guys are meant for each other too. So
he's been outside since 9 o'clock last night. So you just let him in.
Welcome to the show. Again.
Welcome to the show, Jim.
Hey, wait a minute. This is my guest.
You better get her. She only does her makeup like 1 time a month. She said you better get her today.
And it wasn't for him.
Well, we appreciate it. I just want to say thank you, guys. We love you. We talk to you all the time. You're one of our favorite people, and keep up the good work. And hopefully, we get to see you guys so soon.
And I know Ted's going to ask the question.
Jim, you should see if Tammy will come on Jim and James with coffee.
With Jim and James. Wow.
Ted's a little rusty. He forgot to talk while he was on vacation.
I've been on vacation for 10 days.
So the question we end with, Tammy, is who's your favorite sales guy at Upscale?
Oh, Mike Talent. Hands down.
What a great answer. We should have went active.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Current. You have to pick current.
He's still listed on the website.
I'm not even on there.
Oh, that is a good answer, though.
Hey, on the Connections for Life whole thing, I actually referred to Dan. You know, I referred to Chad and Joe as my derelict brothers who couldn't get rid of me if they wanted to.
Great, she did, guys. It was pretty heartfelt and touching.
We're happy to be your derelict brother, man. We love you, to be anybody else.
Thanks for everything you do for us, and thanks what you do for the industry. Not thankful for Jim most times, though, especially now.
Thank you for just putting up with him. I mean,
yeah,
that's
really
more of a challenge than any of this.
So, I don't know if you remember this.
No.
MEA, you saw him. You were like, "Who's that weird guy who keeps following you?"
Because I'm like
your
derelict
happened. He followed you to Florida.
because I'm your derelict brother. I was concerned. You know?
You didn't do a great job, Joe.
I was like, "Joe, you think he's weird?"
If anybody knows me, I don't like anybody. So for Jim, you know, it was just par for the course. But no, I love you guys, and you guys have turned out to be awesome, and I'm really happy for you both.
Dynamic duo.
And we love you all.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jimmy.
But
All right.
Love you guys.
Love you
Look
too.
great.
Bye.
See you soon. Stay safe.
See you guys. Toodles.
Tammy, that was a great interview. Thank you so much for joining us. As you guys,
you have a visitor.
Sweetie, love you. The great reference point to my
Thinks
job.
it's
She broke the blind. We're moving tomorrow.
Okay, you're moving. So, anyways, what we're saying.
back to our regularly scheduled program here. Without further ado, I'll give you the update. And DCA, the Distribution Contractors Association, has unfortunately had to cancel the in-person fall meeting. It's now been moved to the virtual format via October 6th and October 7th of 2020, and it'll be over a 2-day period. So other than that, I don't have much else going on. Chad?
Sorry, the sign just keeps popping up next to your head now.
He's just taped it now. It looks like when you guys remember when you used to read comic books and the bubble would be like.
Oh yeah, that's exactly.
That's literally what it looks like to you right now.
Awesome. So SGA, the SGA's starting their spring stuff, which is kind of odd because it's the end of summer, but that's what it's called. It's called their Spring Operations Conference. We're going to kick that off for them as well next Thursday the 20th at 3 p.m. Eastern. We're going to play Let's Make a Deal with Jim and James and Ted and Joe. And Jim's going to be awesome. He's going to be so much fun to have.
Just for reference point, Jim and James, we've talked about obviously at length, but from EW. Yeah. And
from the hat. Yep, Ted has his on. But that's it. It's going to be awesome. Like I said before, we have some really good prizes, some really cool stuff, and it's just going to be a lot of fun. Try and have some fun virtually. And it's our first soiree into it. We'd like to take it one day on the road and actually do it at a show live.
I think that'll be great if we can.
You know. Yeah. But that's all I really wanted to talk about. Just pump our tires a little bit on that side. Joey, what do you got?
Nothing. I just, kind of what you.
Good. He said nothing.
We're pretty excited to be doing this. I mean, we had talked about it for the last gas conference. It didn't work out, but this one we should have hopefully a lot more attendance, guys. We really want people to come on and be a part of it. It's not anything but just for fun, and there's a ton of prizes and gifts that we're giving away. So just please be a part of that. I just want to, obviously, like I always do, just to say thank you to Tammy. We've known Tammy. I know Ted again. You're kind of newer guy.
I've known him for 2 years now, though.
So you've even known Tammy for a while. Yeah. So now she's just harassing you.
My babe.
But
girl.
In all seriousness, Tammy has been somebody that I've worked in this industry with pretty much from almost day one. Tammy was the very first person that I ever traveled with. We have a great friendship, and relationship, and it was just awesome to have her on, and obviously to see Jim again. We see him a lot, but to see those guys again, because we're not doing this the normal way. So, just thank you, Tammy. You're always been a professional, always just been a rock of knowledge for us and a lot of help. So, interesting the new training role for you. We're happy to hear that, and just wish you all the best. So, thanks again for taking the time.
I just wanted to share one thing too, just about Tammy and how much she has, how much knowledge she actually has in the industry. She's been here for a long time, and she's always been supportive. She's always tried her best for us. And, the training thing is new to her, but I think she'll kill it like she has everything else. So
yeah.
It's awesome to see her. And it's actually a little bit longer interview, I think, than we would probably normally do, just because we're so comfortable with her. We actually go off tangent a little bit and talk about some other things, personal things like that. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to have her on. I think she was nervous before, but then backed her
So
off.
what you're saying is we've never gone off script and
Not
created
a whole
tangents?
lot. We try not to because it can go off the rails pretty quick.
I went back and watched episode 1 the other day, guys. We were like rigid robots.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know. We've definitely gotten more comfortable. I mean, and it helps the guests. You know, it helps to get to know the guests and stuff. And that actually kind of brings me to my next point. Next week we're gonna have 2 guys that I'm not gonna name them yet because I want you guys to get to meet these guys. I don't want them to be brought on for their association with the gas industry and their position as far as what they sell and the things that they do. They're part of a larger organization called the Supplers Guild. For most of you that don't maybe know that, it's an organization that really is part of the industry. It has been a long time to really help support the natural gas industry as a whole. And we've had an awesome time talking to both these guys, and we're very, very excited to have them on. They're both a wealth of knowledge, and they've committed their life's work to promoting natural gas and promoting the industry. Yeah. So they're really 2 just great, unique individuals, and we're just happy to have them on. So please stay tuned for that. And that's pretty much all I have.
All right.
Anybody? Nothing? Crickets? Anybody at the cricket thing? Tina got that?
Christina,
she's gonna ding her dad. She's gonna ding her dad in the head with another piece of paper, though.
But I know we kind of got a little wonky there with vacation schedules, and Chad and I did a few things without Ted. But Ted, we just want to say, Chad and I, welcome back. We thought we could do it without you. We realized we can't. So.
Well, we could. It just isn't any good.
No, we can do it, but it's just absolutely deplorable. So just a disaster. So.
It's nice to hear something, nice, actually.
You made it up.
Once. Yeah, I don't believe it, but I appreciate you guys saying it on film. I'll probably play it on repeat to go to sleep at night.
Perfect.
So, honestly, though, no, happy birthday to you guys as well. I said it yesterday in a text, but I meant it. I love the both of you guys. I'm glad we're coworkers, but I'm much happier that we're friends. And I meant that when my daughter came in here, and she goes, well, at least I have friends, and I'm like, these are my friends.
Wait a minute, I'm confused.
It's weird. It's weird, and I think one of the things, and I don't want to delve off into another tangent, but honestly, the thing that's the most unique is
nobody watches this part anyways.
We're a family, though. Like we talk about our children and our lives, and we are friends. And
especially when we're at home, especially in the last 5 months, it's become even more prevalent because our families are pretty much involved in what we do every day. I had to go yell at people for being too loud, and it's just what we've adored now.
The friendships and the relationships are what makes this job awesome, and you guys both bring that and create that environment for me every day. So,
thank you guys, both of you.
All right. Hey, connections for life out.
Love you guys.
Love you.